Right now, a Tennessee criminal court judge is hearing the case against Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who is the undocumented Maryland man that the Trump administration wrongly sent to El Salvador. Last month, he was allowed to return to face human smuggling charges, which is the case now before the judge. He could decide today to release Abrego Garcia, and the Trump administration says if that happens, the father of three will be deported again. But it's not clear where he will be sent. Joining us now is Benjamin Osorio, immigration attorney for Abrego Garcia. He is also a partner at the Murray Osorio law firm. Thank you so much for being with us. And there seem to be some indications here in recent court proceedings that there may not be reason to hold Mr. Abrego Garcia for pretrial detention, in which case he would be released and very possibly deported based on what we're hearing from the Trump administration. How are you preparing for that?
Well, in the event that happens and goes into ICE custody, at this point, we're anticipating that they're going to try to send him to a third country since he has that withholding protection from El Salvador. So we're prepping everything we can right now for that eventuality.
And so do you have any indication where he could be deported to if he's deported?
At this time, we've not heard from the Department of Homeland Security which third country they would be removing him to. As I'm sure you saw on the news this morning, they are starting, removals to new countries in Africa as well, to Libya and Sudan. So it's hard to know, but I mean, it's hard to think about being in that position if you get dumped in a country where you have no contacts, have no language skills. I mean, it's a hard thought. And again, we're going to do everything we can to make sure that he gets the due process he didn't receive before.
The federal judge in this immigration case, Judge Zinnes, said she's considering an order that would actually block the Trump administration from taking any steps to deport him for 48 hours if he's released before trial. What would that 2 days buffer give you time to do?
I mean, we would immediately trigger what's called a reasonable fear interview to that third country. So that would allow us to try to seek protection, a similar protection to what Mr. Abrego has right now from El Salvador to this new country.
And would the reasonable fear be different dependent on which country it is that he might go to, if it was an African nation versus another nation in Latin America?
Yeah, I mean, I think, given the nationality, the language issues and all of that, his profile or his danger risk levels would be different depending on the country. Obviously, most of that's going to be very dependent on the country conditions themselves. So we'll see what the department ends up doing.
Can you share what he's thinking right now, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, his family, what they're concerned about right now as they confront this possibility that he may be deported?
I can't tell you what he's thinking, but I can tell you what many similar situated families are thinking right now. I mean, this is tough. I don't think that Americans realize how intertwined these individuals are with, not only the economy, but U.S. families. I saw a father of 3 U.S. citizen kids the other day and, has a U.S. citizen spouse, and he's in detention, and his 7-year-old is, crying me, asking me, when can dad come home? So, I mean, he's obviously, fearful, this individual that I'm speaking of losing his family, and his family's scared of having to go on welfare or look for food benefits or those kind of things. And so, whether you're Kilmar or whether you're any one of these individuals, or whether this is a loved one of yours that's looking at being detained in Alligator Alcatraz, I mean, I just don't understand the lack of compassion, the lack of mercy, the lack of empathy that we have right now for human beings.
Benjamin, we are seeing some of that. We're telling some of those stories, including in mixed status families. Our Priscilla Alvarez just brought a story to us on our program about a family in Pennsylvania that is self-deporting to Mexico. Only the father is undocumented. But they have been watching this specific case of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, and they're very concerned this could happen to them. How do you see this case affecting? Are you seeing that self-deportation on a broad scale?
I'm not seeing it on a broad scale, but we are seeing it. I mean, I have, people come into the office every day asking, am I at risk? Should I do this? I don't want to get sent to Libya. I don't want to get sent to South Sudan. I don't know anybody there. And I'd rather, go back home to whatever their home country is, rather than look at, 1, being detained in some place like Alligator Alcatraz, or 2. So, I mean, that is the point of these tactics, right? It's the cruelty, it's to inspire fear, it's to inspire people to self-deport, and people are rightfully scared.
Benjamin Osorio, thank you so much. We'll continue to follow this hearing as well as we wait to see what the outcome is, but we thank you for joining us before we know.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, ma'am.